Hello, everybody. Good evening. We made it on before 11 p.m. time of recording. I'm your host, Andrew, for the Missing Lynx podcast. Again, I'm Andrew Dukowitz, beat reporter for Zone Coverage. I cover the Lynx and Timberwolves with credentials as a member of the media. And we have another Lynx basketball game to talk about, and perhaps the most unlikely of heroines, not heroin, different thing, heroines to talk about tonight, and that's Diamond Miller. I mean, this is arguably the best game Diamond has played in well over a year and a half of calendar time, and it was special to watch, and it was special to talk to her post game in the media scrum. First, let's just get into the game here briefly. Lynx did that thing again where they just really don't bring the best energy at the beginning of a game. I think most of the team would probably agree to that. Vegas came out with a lot of energy, a lot of intensity. We're playing really good on-ball defense. We're forcing the Lynx into some pretty tough shots, and it really showed. I mean, Fee had a by Fee standards, a bad game. Courtney Williams really struggled in the first half. Kayla McBride couldn't get anything to fall. Alana Smith wasn't getting any openings. It really was kind of the wheels falling off moment that we've seen with this Lynx team before in first halves. And I mean, story of the game, Diamond Miller comes in midway through the second quarter and kind of changes everything. Hits a big corner three to finally give the Lynx a made 3-point bucket in the game. Next possession, she hits a nice diving layup and comes back to the sideline screaming. I honestly thought maybe we would get a chest bump between Diamond Miller and Cheryl. It didn't happen. Diamond ended up yelling past Cheryl as she walked to the bench and back on defense. But she really just immediately injected this team with energy. Third quarter happens, or I suppose I should say second quarter, they get the ball game a little bit closer. Third quarter happens. Fee comes out, gets kind of a shot to the back underneath the basket. It didn't really look like a dirty play or anything even really that physical, but she came up pretty stiff after that shot and almost immediately went back to the locker room, and we didn't see her again. In that time, though, Diamond comes back into the game, hits a ludicrous step back three, hits a layup, and does the too small gesture on the baseline, and is just all energy again for the Lynx. She even to the point where she gets a shot clock violation at the end of she forces a shot clock violation at the end of the third quarter. And she's so hyped up that Cheryl has to go halfway onto the court to kind of go, hey, we need you for the offensive possession. There's 6 seconds left. Like, let's get over here and run a play still. But Diamond really just infused the team with just energy, an energy that they sorely were lacking until she came in the second. And then Courtney Williams just does what Courtney Williams does. A really poor first half of basketball, followed by going absolutely nuclear in the second half, where I was talking to some of the other writers and I was like, this was the most Courtney Williams game. If you wanted to explain to aliens who Courtney Williams is, this is the game for it. 8 for 23, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. She finishes the game +4 after being -28 at one point in the first half. Completely turned the game around, completely made up for pretty much everything. And by the time the fourth quarter was halfway through, the Lynx had completely sealed the game and were just kind of walking to victory. Going back to Diamond, though, she finishes the game with 14 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 3-point baskets made, did have a steal as well. 3 fouls for Diamond, which again, I do like to nitpick a little bit on players. The 3 fouls is a little much, but Diamond was also, guarding Jackie Young, Jewel Lloyd, Mitchell for most of the game. It's not like she was getting an easy assignment in her minutes. And in her minutes, I mean, there was multiple times where she is picking up her matchup on the inbound and guarding them 94 feet as they're trying to cross half court. And that's just a testament to Diamond. I mean, you stay ready, you put in all the work, you do all of the things in the background, and it eventually pays off. And Diamond, after the game, Terry Horseman from the Next asked her, the first question out of the gate was just, Diamond, what's it feel like? And she just broke down in a moment of like vulnerability, and you could just tell how much it meant to her to be back on that post-game press conference podium after having a game where, I mean, let's be honest, she won that game. And Ben here in the chat says, Diamond coming out party. I mean, it was. Tonight was everything that you hope for in a Diamond Miller. The defense where she's able to guard the entire way. When she gets open threes, she knocks them down. When she's faced with being able to run downhill, she's able to use her athleticism. It really was a Diamond game that hopefully leads to more minutes for her and building on this role. But after the game, she just kind of said, she's a fighter. She's working her tail off. She's been working in the background a ton every day. I mean, you think of the last year and a half, almost 2 years of time of mid-season injury in her rookie year, gets injured the summer after her rookie year, comes into training camp, gets injured in training camp, starts the season last year as a starter, loses her starting job to Bridget, then gets injured again, comes back after the USA and the Olympics, gets injured again. And then this off season, she finally is able to play overseas in Poland, I believe she played in, put together a pretty good season, but then comes in and she is clawing for a roster spot and any semblance of minutes. It's just a testament to Diamond. And I've shared with it before on podcasts and on different places I've been. But one thing that's always just stuck out to me about Diamond is you'd never know she had a bad day. She is always smiling. She's always polite, talkative, personable. She's the first person jumping off the bench when she's not getting playing time. She's the first person that's congratulating teammates. She's an awesome interview. She's humble. She's like an advocate for mental health. She's everything you want in a player. And it's just, when is this going to happen for her? When is she going to get another chance? And hopefully tonight is that other chance where she's able to really build on it. The other little Diamond thing is just Courtney and Tisha Heidemann were both on the podium with her, and you can just tell how bad they want success for her. I mean, they both talked about just how much she works in the background, the energy that she gives them. You'd really think it's at some point going to work out for Diamond. She's just too good of a player. She's too athletic. She's too talented to not have it work out. And hopefully tonight is the beginning of that. We'll break down more of the Courtney Williams of it all and some more post-game stuff, but I'm going to throw us over to an ad read here quick. And when we come back, we'll dig into the Courtney Williams effect of this game.
It's playoff time in Minnesota. The energy is electric, the stakes are high, and every move counts. You can feel it, right? The momentum, the nerves, the is this really happening buzz. The spring real estate market in the Twin Cities has the same kind of energy. Headlines are flying out about interest rates, the economy, and what's coming next. It's exciting, yes, but also confusing and a little bit overwhelming. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or just wondering if that Zestimate is lying to you, don't overthink it. Go to wolvesrealtor.com and connect with Heather. She's not just a fan in the stands. She's on the court every day with Exit and North Star Realty, reading plays, adjusting the strategy, and helping people make confident moves, not panicked ones. Even if you're just curious or unsure about the next step, wolvesrealtor.com is where you start. No pressure, just real talk, real answers, and a game plan that actually works. Because when it comes to real estate, just like basketball, having the right coach makes all the difference. Go check out wolvesrealtor.com and tell them Matt from the Daily Wolves sent you.
So Courtney Williams, we mentioned it a little bit ago. This is the Courtney Williams, the most Courtney Williams game that there can be. And she mentioned it again in the post game that, she just doesn't have any memory of having missed a shot. I mean, she made a joke that like when Fee went out injured, everything went out the window. If she was open, she was going to shoot it. And it's just always amazing to me how she can have such a rough first half. I mean, again, minus 28, and then just absolutely hit the gas in the second half. And it's like it never happened, which, I mean, NBA, WNBA, baseball, NFL, any sport, like if a quarterback's having a rough first half in football, it's so rare that they can just snap their fingers and all of a sudden everything's hitting. And that's just a testament to Courtney. And when she is at her best, Cheryl mentioned it after the game, come to think of it, but they don't make the finals without Courtney last year. I mean, she won them games. She hit game winners. She is an absolute dog when it comes to like just her defensive intensity and just her mindset. And this year they need her. I mean, Courtney might be the second best player on this team. It's kind of a toss up between her and K-Mac. And at some point you got to figure the law of averages are going to hit, and Courtney's not going, scoring 20 points on 23 shots, and she's back to where she was at the peak last year. I think the other thing that's kind of sneaky last year is it's been kind of hinted at through Cheryl and even through Courtney that maybe, after that Olympic break is when she started really locking in, which, you think professional basketball player, why aren't they locked in all the time? But when you can see the end of the season, when you can see seedings on the line, when you can see those kind of goals coming closer, sometimes that is just extra motivation. And it seemed like last year for Courtney, especially, just having that end of the season in sight seemed to motivate her even more. Bob here on X asks about Fee being out a game or two, and if Diamond jumps into the starting lineup. I think that's on the table, certainly. I think if Shep was here, Shepard would probably get the start next to Lan. But Diamond, I mean, it's either Diamond or Masha, which Masha has only been here for about a week and a half. And my guess is they might go with Diamond in that. I guess theoretically they could play really small and go with Courtney, T, Bridget, K-Mac, and Lan. But they really like to have that extra option where you can pull that lever if Courtney's having a game like tonight, and you can throw T in and she can give you really good minutes from the backup, which shout out T again, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Shooting efficiency wasn't the best, but a plus 21. She's been on a tear this year. The other thing I would say, Bob, is I'm not sure Fee is out a game or two. Cheryl after the game naturally said, I just finished coaching a basketball game. I don't know what the status is, but Courtney and T both said that she looked fine. She was up and moving around in the locker room. Courtney's exact quote was, "She'll be all right." So to me, I think there might have been a world where Fee returned to this game. PR was a little slow getting the news out of what her status to come back was. And I feel like part of that might have been just kicking the can down the road a little bit of, well, if we start to take control of this one, we'll let Fee rest. If we really need her, maybe she can come back in and play some minutes. That is completely me, just my hypothesis. But I don't think it would be unheard of. And I also, they have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're not traveling before they play on Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised if Fee is just back on Saturday. She's also kind of been a gritty player throughout her career. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if she's just back. I am going to throw us over to one more ad read here, and then we'll do a little bit of a preview for Saturday, and we'll talk about the Commissioner's Cup. They're in the finals now, and the the league's probably got to be pretty happy about what team they're going to be facing in the finals. Getting Indiana and getting Indiana in Minneapolis, I think will be fun too. But let's hit it ad read first.
What's up, Minnesota fans? Many of you know that I help fans get tickets into games, and now I'm giving you an opportunity to get tickets to any sporting event you want, not just basketball. We're talking football. We're talking hockey. We're talking soccer, man. Any sporting event that's in town, or maybe it's a concert. All you have to do is use my promo code, The Daily Wolves, all caps, on SeatGeek. That's right. I partnered with the SeatGeek app. You can download it on iOS or Android devices. You can find it on your web browser at SeatGeek.com. Check it out today. Enter my promo code, The Daily Wolves, and get $20 off your first order.
Okay, first things first. Thanks, Evan, for doing ad reads. Also, thanks, Matt from the Daily Wolves, for doing the ad read earlier. But Lynx play the Sparks again on Saturday. Gotta think the Sparks are going to want to put together a better performance than last weekend when they played, but the Sparks are still a very banged up team. And although they have looked a little bit more testy in recent weeks, they are still not, I think we can safely say, not at the Lynx's level, is as kind of mean as that is to say. I think the Sparks game is going to be another chance to just see the Lynx put a really good game together. Again, to Bob's point, if Fee has to miss a game, the Sparks is not a bad game to miss. They really don't have a lot of things working for them other than Kelsey Plum. And when Kelsey Plum isn't going for 30, it really seems like the Sparks just struggle everywhere. And although they will be motivated to put up a better performance, it's hard to see really what they could have done differently against the Lynx. I mean, when the Lynx are playing the top tier level of defense that they can get to, there's just not a lot you can do. And when Kelsey Plum is being double teamed and Courtney is just from the jump hounding her, it's hard to see the Sparks having a path to win. I do like to look out in the schedule a little bit more than just the Sparks too. And I mean, let's be honest, they play Mystics and then they got Atlanta, and Atlanta is probably, I mentioned that this Aces game was going to be the measuring stick game to see how the Lynx are holding up. Asia Wilson doesn't travel with the team. The Aces are pretty banged up overall, and it ended up not really being a measuring stick game. So now I'm going to put it out into the universe the next Friday, June 27th against Atlanta. That is the measuring stick game where we're really going to be able to see how good is this Lynx team. Are they going to put together 4 complete quarters of basketball? Are they going to start hot? Are they going to start malaised and not come back? That's a game that I have circled already. No disrespect to the Mystics, but my assumption is the Lynx are going to be able to handle that one, even though it's on the road pretty well. With the last couple minutes we have here, though, the Commissioner's Cup between Indiana, who is going to be likely at full strength, and the Lynx, who are likely going to be at full strength, I think is just going to be a phenomenal matchup. It will be at the Target Center. My best advice is try to get those tickets as the second they come out, because Iowa fans are going to travel to the Target Center for that. And heck, even if you just want to make a couple bucks on resale, those tickets are going to be in high demand. From a game standpoint, it's going to be a ton of fun. Indiana doesn't play a whole lot of defense yet this season. I'm hopefully not shocking the world with that assessment. They are a very gifted offensive team, but defensively, they just don't have a lot of defense, whereas the Lynx have based their identity on their defense for the last 36 months, it seems like, and they are going to be able to come out and be as physical as humanly possible with that Indiana team. And I think it's going to be a really fun game. I know probably in the next week or two, some conspiracy theorists will come out that this is being set up for Caitlin Clark to win it and this, that, and the other thing. And honestly, if you are a conspiracy theorist, I'm going to let you run with it, because the Commissioner wore a New York skyline last championship, and I don't know what is rigged anymore and what isn't. But I do think this is going to be a really fun matchup. I think the Lynx being at home for that matchup is going to be really fun. Bob just shot another question in. Jess back by then. So Jessica Shepard's going to be interesting. If Slovenia makes the finals, she won't be back by then. I think the fastest she could be back if they go deep in EuroLeague or make the championship or the medal games is literally like the 3rd or the 4th, and this game is going to be played on July 1st. Now, if Jessica Shepard misses all of the medal rounds, she should be back by then. It's really just going to depend on how her team performs. And I think Jess will be needed for that game. I mean, if we've kind of seen without Shep, they are a small team. Obviously, Masha was great against the Sparks. She didn't get a ton of run this game against the Aces. I don't really have any insight into that other than she looked like she was just kind of out of sorts on defense, and Cheryl really values that defense. But Indiana, Minnesota for Commissioner's Cup after having New York, Minnesota last year. I mean, the league has to be happy is all I can say. And I am all for having another game at the Target Center. It's going to probably be a standing room sellout with Caitlin Clark being in town, and a national televised Lynx game is going to be awesome. That is all I have for this pod. Believe it or not, that's all I got. I do want to tease out a little bit for people who are still in here at 21 minutes. On Thursday, the Lynx are going to be having some honorary signees of Special Education Minnesota or Special Olympics Minnesota students. I'm going to be covering that and putting out some of the content. They're going to be able to practice with the team. They're going to get their jerseys and they're going to get signed to contracts just like the Wolves did earlier in the season. It's a really cool event. So if people are interested in more of the wholesome, this is the good in humanity type of stuff, I'll be posting a lot of that stuff throughout Thursday. And the Lynx do plan on practicing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. So if you don't follow me on X, I will be having a ton of kind of behind the scenes Lynx stuff coming out this season. As always, I do want to thank the 217 people that have swung through and checked out the live. I always appreciate it. And this live is for the fans. I mean, you guys deserve to have more Lynx content. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am the basketball genius or the John Krasinski or anything like that. But heck, if I can do a podcast for the Lynx fans that are just diehards and awesome, I'm going to keep doing it. So I appreciate all the support. And until next time, go Lynx, everybody. We're 11-1.